Welcome to the space where reflection meets accountability, where real conversations challenge the way we think, speak, and show up in the world. This is a place for growth, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So take a breath, slow down for a moment, and let's get into today's reflection. If you like this material, please hit the thumbs up. If you think it's valuable and want to hear more information, please subscribe or share with a friend. Today, we're talking about a feeling that shows up for so many people, especially the moment they start changing how they show up in their relationships. And that feeling is guilt. Not the kind of guilt that comes from doing something intentionally harmful, but the kind that shows up when you say no, when you choose yourself, when you set a boundary, or when you stop doing things the way you always have. That kind of guilt can feel heavy, convincing, almost like proof that you're doing something wrong. But what if it's not? What if guilt in these moments isn't a sign that you've crossed a line, but a sign that you've moved one? Because a lot of us were conditioned, whether in our families, our culture, or our past relationships, to equate being a good person with being accommodating, available, easy, and self-sacrificing. So when you start to shift out of that, when you stop overextending, when you stop saying yes out of obligation, your internal system reacts. And it reacts with guilt. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something unfamiliar. That's an important distinction. Guilt isn't always a moral signal. Sometimes it's just a learned response. It's your brain going,
"Wait, this isn't how we usually keep the peace. This isn't how we stay liked. This isn't how we stay safe."
So instead of immediately trying to get rid of the guilt, or worse, obey it, it can be more helpful to get curious about it. Ask yourself,
Is this guilt coming from a value I've violated? Or is it coming from a pattern I've outgrown?
because those are two very different things. If you've genuinely hurt someone or acted out of alignment with your values, guilt can be useful. It can guide repair. It can help you reconnect with who you want to be. But if the guilt is showing up simply because you didn't overextend, because you didn't abandon yourself, because you chose something healthier, then guilt isn't guiding you. It's trying to pull you backward. And that's where reframing comes in. Instead of hearing guilt as,
I did something wrong.
try hearing it as,
This is new. This is different. This might actually be growth.
because growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels right. You're not just changing your behavior. You're changing patterns that have been in place for years. So of course it feels off. But here's something else to hold on to. You can feel guilty and still be making the right decision. Those two things can exist at the same time. You don't have to wait for the guilt to disappear before you trust yourself. And over time, something really powerful happens. The more you act in alignment with your needs and values, the more your internal system recalibrates. What once felt wrong starts to feel neutral, and eventually it starts to feel right. But that only happens if you don't abandon the change just because it feels uncomfortable at the beginning. So if you've been feeling guilty lately, especially as you set boundaries, change habits, or show up differently in your relationships, try not to see it as a stop sign. Try seeing it as a signal. Not that you've done something wrong, but that you're doing something new. And maybe something necessary. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. If you like this material, please hit the thumbs up. If you think it's valuable and want to hear more information, please subscribe or share with a friend. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay aware, stay grounded, and keep growing. Elevate and glow.